Hey Dante, how's it going, man?
Yeah, fine, I guess. I'm ready for another episode, I suppose. How is your Series S doing?
Oh, but look, literally on fire, Dante. But look, we'll come to that in a minute.
That's why it's so warm in here. Oh, nice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, another story. But look, I have a sneak peek of something right here that you, and I mean you, might find interesting.
Okay, I mean, I'm with you, but just checking. This isn't more screen grabs of Hollow Knight because, after slide 327, I kind of lost the will to live and had to talk to my therapist about it.
There was only 600 slides. Don't say exaggerate. Anyway, and also you didn't even get on through to the DLC. I didn't show you anything at Godheim. But anyway, forget it. No, this is big. This is like a proper media announcement that I got for us this time. I've got it by the balls.
We've got a media announcer. Us?
Yeah, we Jambags, for everyone's listening. If you are listening, if anyone's listening, this is like breaking the shizzle, like first.
Oh, right. Okay.
So get this,
ahead.
yeah. You know that Mythic Quest TV show that came out and was all about game dev, and you warts and all and stuff.
Yes, it is a great series, and no matter how many times I tell you to watch it, you seem to not. So watch it.
Blah 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 blah. Anyway, some big names in the industry have seen it, yeah, and they want in on the action. And you see, they feel that this sort of game dev studio in Mythic Quest kind of portrays game dev badly in a lot of ways, and they want to do their own show to really show the reality of what they as big execs, doing real game development.
I don't know. I think it shows a game developer as a decent place to work. I think it apologizes for microtransactions a bit too much, but, so they want like an industry puff piece.
I mean, it is exactly that. It's an industry puff piece. It's got some traction, though. It's got the likes of Bethesda. It's got Ubisoft. It's got CD Projekt Red. It's got 2K. They're all interested. They're all got
those are some
fingers in the
big
creative
names.
Parts.
Yeah, big news, big names.
Yeah. And you know what's even bigger?
What's even bigger?
I managed to snag the opening credits music for their new sitcom.
Whoa! How did you manage that?
Well, it's a long story, but you seen the news that the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson had his cell phone number public for like 15 years?
Yeah, I caught some news. I mean, I was drunk, but I went in.
Yeah, well, look, I gave him a call. He's very receptive. Loves to talk. Something about flat refurbishment. I don't know, pull some strings. But anyway, he said he was going to talk to a few people. He did, and now we have it. There we go.
We've got it. We've actually got it from him.
Yeah. Right. So ready? I'm going to listen to audio, but I'll roll the audio now. Yeah. Releasing a AAA game today takes everything you've got. It's full of bugs, the budget's gone, shareholders will have you shot. Wouldn't you like to release anyway? So if it goes wrong, you could always blame QA. They're not well paid anyway. You want the cash from day one sales, reviews are out the same day. If it goes wrong, you could always blame QA. You need a sexy new sports car, it's the only way you'll get laid. If it goes wrong, you could always blame QA.
Okay, right. So, I mean, let's just pretend for a second that doesn't sound a bit like you singing really badly, which it does. That does sound like they're trying to make some kind of a point here.
Don't know what you mean there, Dante, on all fronts.
Well, it suggests that they're trying to brainwash people into thinking that releasing broken, shoddy games at full price is not their fault. It's actually the fault of the poor QA team. I mean, CD Projekt Red just announced bonuses for their execs despite Cyberspunk being a big pile of unfinished doo-doo, especially on the last-gen consoles, while their devs missed their bonuses. I mean, it's not a puff piece or just kind of sweeping that under rug at all?
You know what, I'll tell you, I think you're being a little bit too cynical, okay, on this one. We've got ourselves an exclusion, and you're going to have to go, let's put some cynical juice all over this.
Well, you're covered in cynical juice, aren't you? But anyway, it seems pretty convenient that this big group of publishers are now known for releasing games that aren't ready. They're blaming the testers and now making a sitcom where the title music says, "It is the fault of the testers."
Well, Dante, I thought you'd be a bit more excited about this. I've actually got off my backside. I extorted our Prime Minister, which is probably illegal.
That's easy to do. Anyone can do that.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, and all you do is literally shit all over my parade, okay? I just don't understand your cynicism, yeah? If you can't trust multi-billion-dollar shareholder-led conglomerates to release an unbiased and totally honest reflection of their behaviour in the industry, then who can you trust, Dante?
Hello, Jambaggers, and welcome to another edition of the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast with my esteemed colleague, Mr. Rudy Manchego.
Hello there, and my colleague, Mr.
Dante Rodriguez. Dante Rodriguez, I'll say it properly this time. And we would like to start this episode with an apology for... is it an apology? I don't know. It's
just an acknowledgement, maybe, of just how... Right, I suppose... Is it fair to say that we see ourselves on the side of, I most say on the side of right is too wrong. It's too.
Yeah. I think we try and kind of stay on what we hope is the right side of history for these sort of things.
And so we based, I would say, 60 to 70% of last month's podcast episode on the fact that we were disappointed that Sony had cut access to the PlayStation Vita, PSP, and PS3 stores.
Yeah,
and that was like that was the name of the podcast episode.
It was
2 or 3 segments was about it. What happened, Dante?
Within 24 hours they retracted it and they said, nah, it'll be fine, we'll keep the stores open, go on then, since everybody seems to hate this idea of shutting them down. Now, we might be apologising, but I can think of one man who might be very happy about the news. What do you think, old...
Well, Peter Moyes actually did send me a very quick voicemail to say, his exact words, I'll play it for you. It's a bit garbled. I think he might have been drinking because obviously the pubs come out of lockdown. But here's the quick clip, which is what he said.
Yeah, so I can sell my game now on those stores. No thanks to you, wankers. See, you were wrong anyway. All that bollocks.
Okay, so when you said he left you a voicemail, what you actually mean is that there was like a kind of split apart cassette tape from an old tape deck that was pushed through your letterbox, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it took me. It's the reason why I've had to wait till the start of this month. He posted it ages ago, but I haven't got a tape deck. I had to go around my nan's and borrow one.
No, I mean, who's got a tape deck? Apart from Peter, who's got a tape deck?
Yeah, pretty much Peter, because that's where all his games are still on tape, I think. But that's anyway, true. So yeah, it was a bit of a kick in the nads, really, which it's great. It's what we wanted, obviously, and maybe our listeners and our listenership and the fact we addressed it, maybe that changed Sony's mind.
I feel like that we must be kind of integral in the in the changing of Sony's mind. I think that the Jambags campaign was what finally sealed the deal. You're welcome, Sony folks.
Yeah, I mean that's great. On the flip side, it has totally cocked that episode up for for future listens, and I doubt it's going to get much replayability when it's just like, what do you want to talk about? That didn't happen.
Can we do like Disney and Star Wars and just not make it canon?
Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's actually a really good idea. We could do that with anything that doesn't work out or is offensive. We can just say that's not canon.
Yeah, so anytime I've ever offended someone, that's not canon.
Yeah, and those times I accidentally sent you those lewd pictures, though, that wasn't canon.
No. I mean, this extends to things beyond the podcast. I mean, those threatening letters that I sent to Jake Gyllenhaal, they're not canon.
Well, no, completely not. Exactly. That's what we can put in your forthcoming court case with him, can't we? I don't know why you've asked me to defend you, by the way, but I'll do my best, man. I've seen a couple of episodes of Law and Order, and I watched a lot of Ally McBeal. So
Ally McBeal is the way forward. But I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's a bit of a dick. I mean, surely we can, you can defend against it. Oh, well, Okay, I mean, he's all right.
Doesn't he live in a bubble?
I don't know. I was just doing it to try and get close to his sister, to be honest.
How's that panning out for you?
Not well. None of them. I think she's on his legal team as well because she's been a lawyer in the Batman films, even though I think she didn't make it to the end of one of them, and may have been Katie Holmes.
I don't know. She's in one of the. You're right. She's in one of the films, and well, to be honest, she's coming up against the best if she's going to try and take me on as a legal consultant man person.
Yeah, no, that's tough fighting talk. I'm glad you're my legal counsel.
Yeah, they haven't. Tell you what, that bloke in the wig hasn't got anything. Doesn't know what's coming to him.
No. Could you help me out with that Keanu Reeves one, or is that a bit much?
Well, something, you know.
Oh, come on, man. You're breathtaking. Come on, you're breathtaking.
Because I was involved with that and on the call and stuff like that, I'm seen as an accessory, so I can't represent you. Whereas you harassing Jake Gyllenhaal is all you. Not doing me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, it just looked at me wrongly in that film Jarhead. Man. Bad hair.
Hey Jambaggers, it is time for From the Jambags. That is our monthly news segment where we give you the juiciest news morsels from the gaming industry world. And we are going to kick off with possibly some groundbreaking news. We've actually got a spokesperson to talk about this today, but it's to do with Google Stadia, and they have really pushed the boat out. I'm going to just get Dan Danielson from Google to come on and just give us a quick overview of what's happening. Dan, what have you got to say to us?
Well, Jambags podcasters, who are my conduit to the world.
Right.
Marvel at the great addition to the Stadia, which, as you know, is the future of gaming. This is a feature that is to be marvelled at by all other game companies. They will tremble at the new piece of technology that we have innovated.
Which is?
Stadia has finally added a search bar to its console.
Search bar, as in so you can search for games within the Stadia app.
How cunning of Google Stadia, inspired by the great Goog, to come up with such a piece of innovation and technology.
So can I just be quite clear, bearing in mind that you represent Google, the company that made its name making literally a search bar. You've now finally added a search bar a year and a half into Google Stadia's life. So I just make sure I got that right.
Absolutely, Rudy. And all other game ones you will find if you go onto their platforms. Their search bar disappeared because it was powered by Google in the first place. And what Goog giveth, the great Goog taketh away.
Okay, I think I need to stop getting you on the podcast, to be honest, Dan Danielson, because okay, great. I've just made a big deal about the fact that Google have introduced a search bar, which is literally what Google do. But okay, thanks, Dan. That's great to have you.
Oh no! Don't kick me off. I can't afford the price of my Guildford flat.
Get out.
Oh no.
Oh, okay, Dante. Now. I don't know. That's my bad. I shouldn't have got that bloke on again. I thought there actually was some good news about Google Stadia, but anyway.
Well, normally he just kind of shows up out of thin air, like some kind of
he started asking to request it. He was so excited. I got like 42 voicemails from him just in the last couple of days. So I was like, okay, we could break. Anyway, forget it. It's happened. You've got some actual real news here, which doesn't have
I do. Yes. Yes. No. We have some information about a reasonably popular zombie game. Now, this is like a mid-level, not quite AAA game, sort of a AA game. Had a bit of a cult following. Have you heard of Dead Dudes Don't Die?
I have heard of it. Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of one of those kind of games that people quietly like. It's not it's not probably as fondly remembered as many other games by that publisher.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people go, solid game, liked it.
It's kind of like a very innovative game. It's like a very gruff white guy going around sort of killing zombies, riding around on a windsurfing board. Which
that is, the bit before that possibly not quite as unique. I've never seen a gruff white guy fight zombies before, but the windsurfing element, boom, you got me hooked. I'm in.
Yeah, no, I was always meaning to get around to it, and I think it's gone free on one of the platforms.
Yeah, obviously not going to buy it day one. That's ridiculous.
No, that's terrible.
Anyway, what's the news?
Do that? Well, the news is that the developers of that Dead Dudes Don't Die, they're super salty about not getting a sequel made by their developing house, Tentacle Games. They're just not getting one. Now, I hear that's because Tentacle Games are really kind of focused on blockbusters at the moment. They only want those kind of really well-known IPs that they've got. The slam dunks that they've got are going to make, the big AAA things that are going to get tons and tons of money. But yeah, no, they're not interested in making Dead Dudes Don't Die 2. The lead developer of the game, a guy called Ben Gargle, had something to say about it, and it's a bit controversial. I'm not sure it's it might want to be the sort of thing you might not want to let your kids listen to. But I've got the press release tape coming up right now for the interview. I don't think it was on one of our competitors' websites where this was talked about, but I'll play the clip from them now anyway.
Yeah, give it a go, roll it.
Fucking buy the fucking game at fucking full price, or don't get fucking mad that there's no fucking sequel, you bunch of slags. Damn gamers.
Okay, so that was certainly passionate. I think it's fair to say.
No, he put a lot of effort, a lot of kind of spit. I know it was just a recording, but I think he sprayed that in my ear. Ow.
Yeah, I feel slightly moist in my ears now. I feel like he was right beside me shouting. It seems very much that he's suggesting that players should travel back in time from a time when the game is actually finished, not release day, obviously, and then pay full price for it.
Exactly. That must be the only thing that he can be possibly suggesting there, because we don't know that games are going to be great on day one, and chances are they're going to be broken messes like most AAA games seem to be at the moment when they release, and they only actually get good in about sort of a year, 6 months to a year after that. Now, in a kind of slightly related news, this might explain the large number of Polish time travelers appearing on the horizon around the world, telling Cyberpunk fans to maybe give it another year, bro.
I have noticed a lot of those Polish time travelers. It's interesting. They appear, they say something along those lines, then they start to phase out from existence.
I think they erase themselves from the timeline that way, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Which is an interesting technique. I'm probably going to give Cyberpunk a year, bro. I think.
Yeah, no, I think so. If we don't, does that mean we'll erase ourselves?
I think that the only way to get out of erasing ourselves would be for you to try and sleep with your mother.
Okay, well, I don't know. I was thinking of looking at a different movie for references on this one, but I've got the legal order telling me that I'm no longer allowed to watch Donnie Darko because Jake Gyllenhaal says I can't.
Or Source Code.
Oh no, I love Source Code. Oh.
So there's two things out. Yeah, I think that's the only way it can work is if you do that. And anyway, should we move on to our next news story?
Let's go to our next news story about one of our favourite love to hate gaming celebrities. You've got a story for us, haven't you?
I do, and this one is all about a statement from our good friend Bobby Kotick. Okay, and Bobby Kotick, he is the CEO of Activision Snowstorm, and has announced that that every single one of their studios, and that's a big portfolio of studios.
That's a lot. They're a huge company, and they've got loads of little studios over there.
Yeah, exactly. But all their studios will now be working on just two of their products.
What?
One, Shooty Shooty Bang Bang Shank Zone, and two, Shooty Shooty Bang Bang Mobile. Okay.
Oh, well, that's just one IP, isn't it? Rather than it's not even two separate games.
Well, Shooty Shooty Bang Bang Shank Zone is kind of like their really big online multiplayer game you play on PCs and consoles, whereas Shooty Shooty Bang Bang Mobile is their really big online shooting game that you play on mobiles. Can you see there is quite a big difference
diversity in
between
there,
these two IPs? Yeah, they're not really they're not really the same game, because in one you run around with loads of other players online shooting them, and the other one you run around with loads of other players online shooting them.
Yeah. Is this the company that also spends a lot of their time making like pachinko gambling machines as well? Is that or am I thinking of something else?
Probably do. I mean, I think you're thinking more at Kokonami. But
Kokonami, yes.
Yeah, but anyway, when asked about what that meant for their IPs, particularly there's some fan favourites like Smash Bandicoot, or the slightly dated and, to be honest, quite on PC, Spazzo the Dragon. Bobby...
Oh, everyone loves Spazzo the Dragon.
Well, I don't know if we can love
walking
him
around
anymore.
going,
Yeah, that's not going to go, anyway, we're just saying that was back in the day a love franchise.
Yeah.
We're not saying we agree with Spazzo the Dragon, but but they hold the IP. Activision
They do.
Snowstorm.
They have that.
But so people ask what's going to happen to games like that. Are they still going to get made if all the studios are focusing on these two very different IPs? And Bobby Kotick responded with, and I quote just here, "Who gives two shits? They make millions. Shooty shooty bang bang makes billions. F them."
Wow.
So I'm going to read into this a little bit, and maybe some people say that I'm possibly reaching here, but I don't think we're going to see very much out of Activision Snowstorm outside of Shooty Shooty Bang Bang Shank Zone and Shooty Shooty Bang Bang Mobile.
I mean, does this mean that they're shutting down their big sort of MMO games as well? Are they not running? Are they kind of shutting down Planet of Plundering?
Well, Snowstorm tends to run as a bit of a different division, but I think it's highly likely that I think that eventually every single employee, from cleaners all the way up to the execs, will be making Shoot Shoot Bang Bang Shank Zone and Shoot Shoot Bang Bang Mobile. That's what they're going to do. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's great for the diversity of gaming. I need you try and convince me to play indie games a lot, but I'm really starting to feel like that's the only time we're going to get to play anything that's not a generic.
Hopefully there won't be any other news stories that makes us feel grumpy at the games industry this month. What have you got to round us up with?
Okay, well, just on the kind of annoyance level, we've got another story about Bobby Kotick, who has voluntarily. Whoever's written this kind of story for me has written it in crayon again with speech bubbles over voluntarily, has agreed to take a 50% pay cut because apparently laying off thousands of employees while taking on billion-dollar bonuses, and again, speech bubbles here, looks bad. Or stops Activision Snowstorm from hitting their targets is the kind of the thing that went out officially, but the slightly less official version is it kind of looks bad. It's not great for optics, which I think is the main reason behind it. What do you think, really?
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's interesting we got this press release the way that we did. I think that speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It's funny how people seem to be way more honest with us because they know nobody listens to us, so they completely unfilter the things they say to us.
I mean, the fact is that they drew air quotation marks, not actually quotation marks, but air quotation marks with fingers around voluntarily, is telling of itself.
It is really. It's they really don't. It's either they don't fear us, or they just we must disarm them, make them feel like they can tell us anything. Maybe. Anyway, so 50%
do you feel sorry for Robbie Cock? Yeah. Do you feel sorry for Robbie Kotick?
Well, 50% of what was kind of my first thing. I mean, I looked into it a bit more, and 50% of his pay was $800,000 a year. So I'm trying to think what he would have been on before, and that's still so much more than any of us can ever dream about ever making. He's still a multi-millionaire, a billionaire, I believe, is the term for Bobby Kotick, and he's probably piled it up like Scrooge McDuck in his money bin and swims through it because that's all you can possibly do with that sheer amount of money that he's got. So, yeah, I'm kind of breaking out the world's tiniest violin for Bobby Kotick, and can't.
Yeah, you see, you said about Scrooge McDuck. In my mind, when I imagine Bobby Kotick, I don't imagine Scrooge McDuck. I imagine the money pile of Smaug the dragon from A Hobbit. There, but instead of being this sleek, terrifying dragon, it's just a big fat auntie baboon.
Yeah, it's a bit like sort of Peter Kay in that Doctor Who episode he was in when it.
Yes, that
it's
is
just
yes.
way bigger.
That's a very specific reference that I got. So yes, it is.
I do occasionally try and say things that you might be aware of.
Yeah. There's a really good blowjob gag in that episode Doctor Who. Anyway, let's carry on. I think that rounds it up for our news before I go into bizarre Doctor Who trivia.
Tell me more, Rudy. I want to hear about the blowjobs.
But okay, we'll do that in between segments and cut that out of the podcast. Anyway, shall we move on, Dante?
I think we better.
State of the Gaming Nation.
With a paving slab. How does that... okay. Weird. Right, okay. Hello, Jambaggers, and welcome back to the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast and to the State of the Gaming Nation. Now, this is a segment where we talk about sort of gaming in a wider kind of context, certainly about the culture of gaming, and this is maybe something that's been discussed with other people quite a while ago when certain games came out, but level of difficulty in video games. Now, the main reason I'm doing this is because I've finally gotten round. I found a cheap enough copy of Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and I've gotten about 5 minutes through. I mean, it took me several hours, but I've got about kind of 5 minutes of actual gameplay through, and it's really hard, Rudy.
A wise man once said, if a game is hard, one should get good scrub.
Yes, I have heard that. I've heard that. So the question, which again I think I saw a Twitter debate about it not too long ago as well, was basically are gamers entitled to an easy mode? I mean, I think the simple answer there is probably not. But are gamers entitled to an easy mode to kind of varying difficulty in there? And how inclusive should we expect developers to be for people that maybe aren't particularly great at games and are just in it for the story?
Well, Dante, that depends. Am I talking as a gamer, or am I being honest?
Ooh, now that is
I could go down two paths on this answer.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go down the gamer route first, or should I go down my actual opinion?
I think, do it that way. Start with your kind of gamer answer and your actual human answer.
Okay, right. Okay, gamer answer is, what the actual bro? What are you talking about? Easy mode. If you don't want to play the game, don't play the game. Yeah, it's not your choice. Okay, some of us want challenge. Some of us don't want to be held hands like some little Nintendo. They want to have like real challenge and be kicked in the balls repeatedly. That's my gamer answer.
That is the sort of thing that I would expect from reasonable online discourse amongst gamers. Sorry to basically slag off all gamers there. Hey, Jambaggers, we love you.
So yeah, that's the gamer response. Do you want to know my real response?
I'd like to know your real response. I hope it's different to that.
Oh god, Sekiro really needs an easy mode because I just can't. I had to give up. I gave up like a good few hours into the game, but. And do you know why? Do you know my? There's two things I have on this, right? Do you know why I think games like Sekiro need mode? Is that I believe that I am physically unable to play that game to a good enough standard.
Again, in terms of your physical capabilities, as just as a
mental,
human,
I've got very small fingers. You know this.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I've got very small fingers, and. My reaction times just aren't good enough. The ability to parry in that game, particularly in boss fights, is so split-second timing that the only way that I can do it is to play it so much. It's not skill; it becomes muscle memory. But it's such a frustrating experience. And I don't mean like, it takes me 3 or 4 goes. Like on one of the bosses of Sekiro, I spent probably 8 hours perfecting it. And it wasn't worth the investment. And it was, my fingers were like on fire afterwards. And I just think that I don't have the natural ability to actually do that. And I think if you are someone that does have that, and I've seen people do some amazing runs, great. But the game itself is amazing. It's got amazing game design. It's got amazing gameplay. And I'm not saying like,
graphics is so good. I mean, and I love taking down like the easy but baddies. That's great fun.
Exactly. Now, and I'm not saying that it has to be like, easy. I'm not saying there should be no challenge or configurable, but I think there's a way to implement things that make it that you can still keep the core gameplay of the game, and design around it. However, I mean, that's my viewpoint. What's yours, Dante?
Well, again, I think it comes down in two halves, really. I don't know if it's kind of a gamer bro response like yours, but it's more in my kind of the old guy from Heat. Hey, it's a free country, brother. It's game developers should be able to make the type of game they like, and gamers shouldn't necessarily be entitled to anything. Feeling of entitlement tends to lead to bad places on in sort of cultures in general. But I think that if a developer wants to make a hard game, yeah, sure, they should be allowed to make a hard game, but by excluding those less hardcore gamers, which Sekiro kind of pretty much excludes 90% of people. That means they're not going to get to experience that entire story and to see the conclusion of it. And I just feel like they're kind of being dicks by not letting those other people along the ride for the story.
Yeah, and you know what? My counter argument, right, is for when people go like, "Well, you need to get good, scrub or whatever." You know, my counter argument is that I've seen online. I've seen lots of things online, mainly with horses, but I've seen in terms of specific to this conversation, I've seen someone complete Dark Souls using the Donkey Kong bongos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, and I've sort of recently what one guy did a back-to-back run-through of Dark Souls 1, 2, 3 and Bloodborne, where he played the entire games, all the games sequentially, and took no hits and no damage.
Wow.
Okay. My argument is that the majority of people aren't good enough to do that. That's exceptional play, time. And obviously there's a lot of learning and playing the game again and studying moves and stuff like that. But it's just natural. Some people have got better reaction times. Some people are better gamers. Some people are better at certain things than others, yeah. And I think that therefore my argument would be like, well, if you're saying get good, why can't you play like that guy? Oh, I'm not that good. Okay, then. Oh, I'm not as good as you, potentially. So why can't I play Sekiro? I'm allowed to buy the game. And, I went into it knowing it was difficult, so I'm not complaining about it. I went into it, and arguably, I was equally crap at Bloodborne, but something about that hooked me in a bit more. But I would say that Sekiro in particular, for me, was a game where you couldn't brute force your way through. You can in Bloodborne. You can put extra work in and spend more time and grind and, make sure you've literally absorbed everything to get yourself a bit tougher. So you get to the point where it's the difficulty level stacks for everyone. Get to the point where some people could walk in there and slap them around the face with no more than a willy. But, I went in there with, leveled up more than I needed to be. It wasn't OP, but I still found it really difficult. But Sekiro, you can't do that. You have to play the game they want you to, and that's fine. But I do think that what's the harm? But that's my view.
I feel like there should be a little bit more player choice involved there. It feels like with Sekiro, you either get good at the combat style that they want you to get good at, or you just don't play it.
You're 100% right there. And I just think, okay, then, but if I feel like, the effort it would take me to get good at that game, and by get good, it doesn't mean that I would become more talented at it. It means that I would just repeat it and throw myself against a brick wall until I succeeded. There's no fun in that for me. I want to work for something. I want, I don't want to. I'm not saying I want to walk in there like, twat someone once, they fall over and I've done it. That would be really boring. But what I want is that, is perhaps I have just for me, there's like a few, more milliseconds reaction time or a slightly bigger hitbox, just something that I feel reduces the challenge to a bit where, before going there. And if someone tells me that they've completed Sekiro without any cheats or, on normal mode or whatever, and that's the hard mode or hard mode, I'd still feel that respect for them. I'd be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. It's like, I've not got the way through it, but I played a bit of the game Celeste. That's a very difficult platformer.
Yes, that is tricky. I played that one too.
But there's loads of accessibility options that you can tweak it so that you can make it a little bit easier. It doesn't mean you say make it really easy, so like, it just does it all for you. But you can tweak it so it becomes the challenge that you want. And if someone tells me I completed Celeste without, changing the difficulty, I'm still like, fair play. That's some skill. Yeah. And then there's me going like, but I really enjoyed the game as well. Even though it took me twice as long and I was, when I had this setting on and that setting on. It doesn't just let people be people. I don't think it's being demanding. I think it's just saying.
Yeah. I was really happy that Control, I mean, I didn't use it myself, but I was really happy that Control added the the assist mode in the background of control,
completely.
so that because I've got friends that I know would really enjoy the story of that game. That the lore, and you've played it. The lore is really great, and the bosses, and the inventive combat, and the sort of the zany character, the sort of thing you expect from a Remedy game, basically. But my friend bounced off it completely because there was no ability to shift the difficulty until the final DLC came out, and they added that. Assist mode, and by that point he'd lost interest completely, and I can't convince him to go back. But
yeah,
I think
completely.
it's a shame.
And I'm not saying all games, are easy games, but just it's difficult. There's a lot of people. There's people with disabilities, etc. Or other impairments, which means that perhaps they can't play at that level. Why can't they enjoy an experience like Sekiro?
Yeah.
By being able to tweak it. And I said I don't believe in like as simple as like here's an easy mode. Everyone dies with one hit. I'm not saying that you just tweak it there. If you put the effort and the time into it, you can tweak these experiences. I don't even have a problem potentially with things like rewards, like trophies being disabled if you enable these things, these assists, because saying like the game should be played this way, and that's what you get rewarded for doing it. But if you want to just experience it, that's
why you have a trophy for finishing it in super duper difficulty mode, and you have a trophy for not. I feel like that's and people that want to platinum the game, the real hardcore gamers, they can go for that. But I would just like to see the whole of Sekiro's storyline without rage quitting and destroying all my controllers.
How many have you got through, by the way?
7.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. I'm on 9. But I gave up for my own mental health, and wait a second, real gamers passing. So so
I'm totally getting good, Scrub.
Yeah.
Why do we have Scrub?
I don't know what Scrub is.
No, it just makes you think of that sitcom.
Yeah, maybe
it's all about sitcoms this month.
Yeah. Anyway, so there was like the big giant ape thing from Sekiro. Yeah, after it took me 3 goes and I absolutely shoved the short sword up his arse. It was great. Anyway, so I'm glad there's no easy mode because then I can pawn more noobs.
Oh yeah, no, go back onto Fortnite or Twitch or something and pawn some noobs, and then go back to Sekiro and
yeah,
stuff.
we don't want an easy mode. Blooming scrubs.
Really? What are you doing here? You live literally the other side of England. Why have you got so many bags? Is my first question. And my second question is, why are they labelled soiled clothes?
Oh, Dante, it is a long and savage story. Can I please come in from the rain and cold?
It's May. It's warm. Go sit at a pub or something. You can come in, but you're leaving your soiled undies out. Oh, they do not smell good.
Oh, fine, whatever. I have a sad tale of woe to expand upon. Oh, woe's me, Dante, as the Lord hath forsaken me, and the end of all things has come. I have been a victim of the worst and completely unexpected misfortune.
Oh, wow. It's like Roy Candlestick Maker is here with you as well. Wow. What have you done this time?
Done, Dante, done. Nothing, unless you count using electrical product as the maker intended.
Which particular maker are you talking about here?
Microsoft.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, Dante, I don't know what to say, but all I can say is that all is lost. My house has been burnt to the ground, and I have no place to go, no place to live, nothing left. I am bereft. So I thought I'd come and live with you, if that's all right. Cheers. What's for tea?
Wait. How is this Microsoft's fault?
Well, do you remember a couple of episodes ago I was regaling our listeners with how my Series S puts out like a burning amount of heat and was making strange noises and couldn't literally cook like tender meat on top of it?
Yeah, that was a hilarious joke. I mean, I really had a good laugh about that one.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, because you said one of our listeners, Metal Shark, asked a pertinent question of how many kippers can we smoke above a Series S?
Yes.
And I have been honour bound by the unwritten code of podcasters to test that out.
Yes, I remember that now, and we think we mentioned that might constitute a fault.
No. Anyway, the more I played, the hotter and louder the console was getting, so I felt obliged to cook more on it since I was using all the energy. So by last Tuesday, I had 3 eggs, kipper, bacon, black pudding, and 2 sticks of Tritcho cooking above the Series S while I was playing some Far Cry.
Whoa. This was a sketch. We made all that up. You weren't meant to actually do it.
So the more that I played, the hotter it got, the more it cooked, and suddenly, boom! That was it.
The Series S exploded?
Oh no, actually it's really weird. The heatsink kept it intact. It turned out that cooking fatty foods while playing games can cause fire. Who knew? So the chorizo fat got too hot, caught light, set fire to my curtains. By the time I cleared out yet another outpost on Far Cry 5, the house was on fire and I had to leave, taking home my scalding Xbox Series S and my undies with me.
Okay, you're here, but where... You have a wife, you have a family. Where are they?
Oh, no idea, to be honest. I didn't have time to check. I needed spare pants and the Series S under warranty, so I had to make my escape. I only pray that they managed to make it out safely with my Switch and PlayStation as well.
You had to run for your life, and literally all you worried about was your Series S and your undercrackers.
I remind you, Dante, the Series S is under warranty, and I wanted to make sure Microsoft came good on our business arrangement. Also, while I'm here, seeking solace in your home extension, your Xbox Series X. Have you got Resident Evil Village, by the way?
Wait. No. You cannot stay here at all. I have a life and kids and all that stuff too. I do not have room for you and your smelly pants. And I do not see the Series S anywhere. Have you lost it?
No, you see, after fleeing my burning abode, I managed to get to a post office and register a warranty request. So the device is safely on its way to Microsoft for fixing. In fact, it should be back next week. I thought ahead and added this address as a return, so we should be all good on that front, I think.
You just assumed that you would be living here by then.
Of course, in my hour of need, I came here, Dante.
Okay, really. I'm going to be fairly blunt here. You cannot stay here.
And I thank... What? Really? Why not?
Well, there's actually no room. I've taken in your wife and kids as they had nowhere to go. They arrived right before you did.
Oh, that's safe. That's bonus. Awesome. Great.
Yeah, they are a little bit upset with you because when the fire alarm went off, you screamed, "Every man and woman an Xbox for themselves!" in that exact voice.
Don't sound like that, but...
Grabbed your stuff, smashed the nearest window and pegged it. They had to deal with the fire brigade, insurance, and now they're waiting for the repairs. Also, the police want to have a little word with you for something about reckless endangerment of life.
Bollocks.
Possible, trying to kill your wife sort of thing.
No.
Yeah, insurance fraud might be in there.
Maybe.
They say, it's obvious that you can only cook 2 slices of bacon and a single piece of black pudding at a time on the Series S. This is from Bill Gates himself. If you wanted more, you should have bought a Series X, which I'm currently cooking a steak on upstairs for your wife.
Wow, well, that sounds inappropriate. But, okay, look, all right, maybe I cheaped out a little bit on the cooking stuff with getting the Series S, okay? But, I pushed it a little bit. But wait a second, hang a minute. If you knew all this, why did you let me wobble on about my speech, etc.? Why didn't you just tell me that when I first knocked on the door?
Honestly, I just wanted to see your rationale behind leaving your wife, children, and your PS5 for that matter, who you say is, akin to one of your children now, to die in a burning house. And I called the police the minute you showed up.
Oh, tits. Leg it.
That way!
And that's it, Jambaggers. That wraps up another episode of the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast. We've got a literal ton of questions to get through in our segment here.
A literal ton.
Yeah, I do think on one set of these questions that we have been, I believe the term would be trolled by a Twitter user who was asked... it's just a diarrhea of questions, but we'll come to those in a second. We've got some decent questions here. We've got 2 questions from... sorry, what was that?
Diarrhea. Oh, that's lovely. Just what I want at the end of one of these podcasts.
Yeah. Well, it's better than, the pain I have to normally go through. 2 questions from Twitch legend Mamares.
Yes.
First one, I don't know, is directed at us. It may have just been a thought that made its way to Twitter, but why does it always rain on bank holiday weekends? For those not in the UK, a bank holiday weekend, it's typically when we have a Monday off. It's like a public holiday. We're not really celebrating anything. It was something to do with banks back in the day. Don't know why. We take it because it's a day off. So
I think Americans call it like Veterans Day or Labour Day or that sort of stuff. Whereas over here in England, it's the bank's shut. Maybe everything else should shut too.
Yeah, that's it basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's directed to us, but what's your thoughts, Dante? Why does it always rain on bank holiday weekends? Of which we're recording on a bank holiday, see, that's why it's pertinent.
We are. And it has rained. It's been quite stormy outside while I've been recording. I think the reason it rains on a bank holiday, trying to turn the down under frown upside down, glass half full sort of thing, is so that we feel completely justified at staying indoors and gaming for the entire bank holiday.
Yeah, I would actually go to say that it doesn't always rain on bank holidays. It rains on statistically the same as it would do any other day, depending upon the year and the atmospheric conditions for that time of year. Although that's not taken into account El Nino or any other adverse weather effects by global warming.
Okay.
Should we get on to the game
back, please? Yeah, let's
get back to gaming questions. This one is a cracker from MLS. How about debating the comment made by some dude about it being pointless watching people playing video games on Twitch? Now, this was a quote, I believe, from an American comedian, and he hosts a show. I can't remember what network, but he said basically along these lines is I think his exact words were, "Watching other people playing games was a f***ing waste of time." I think that was his comment. Debate, Dante, go.
Okay, well, we make a lot of fun of Twitch, whatever you want to call it, on the Jambags Comedy Gaming podcast. And, I think if we kind of step outside our Jambags personas a little bit, I'm starting to see that sort of Twitch is quite good fun. Some people find it relaxing, some people find it enjoyable, some people like to be able to have input into a playthrough of a game without having to get good scrub, as we may have kind of discussed earlier. So, things like kind of games that they want to find out about. They also might want a game they might be considering buying. I think there's a lot of reasons why people do tune in for streaming, even if I don't particularly understand it or like to do it very often. I've done it a few times now. We've followed some charity streams from some of our good friends who we're totally beefing with over at ABG, but yeah, no, they're actually our friends, and. I think that's maybe a little bit harsh. I think, like I say, all joking aside, there's a few good reasons to tune into Twitch if you wanted to. What do you think?
I think, to be honest, the first thing I'd say is, it's a waste of time. Well, that's like up to that person's time to decide. Some people think playing video games is a waste of time. I happen to think that, watching, a bunch of guys kick a ball around is a waste of time.
Agreed.
And you know what? First of all, who gives a flying if that's what people enjoy? But I go one further to say that, I'm with you, which is that I think that, Twitch and streaming is a really interesting part of gaming culture that's developed. And I think that it's a part of about building community and friendship, stuff like that. And it can be really, really fun. And I've watched some really, really great streams. People are like, I've participated in a few streams with some stuff now. Personally, for me, my problem struggle is that there's so many people I like out there that I don't really have enough time to watch them.
No.
However, I think there's an entertainment element from seeing people that aren't, necessarily professionals in a lot of ways. That are people like you that go on there. It's a lot. There's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not easy to do and be entertaining. I should know. We do a podcast. It's not very funny. It's difficult. And I just think that it's people's time to spend how they want to. And,
absolutely.
And I'd say that I know people that have made friendships, maybe made relationships, but made long-lasting friendships through communities. Have interacted with people where there's been a positive impact in their lives. So is it a waste of time? Only in the sense that anything you do that doesn't is a waste of time. Following a sport is a waste of time. Playing a video game technically is a waste of time. Watching a film is a waste of time. There's other things you could be doing that might have more impact. The answer would be like, maybe I should, do something. Why am I doing charity work
something
with my
more
time?
Constructive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think
bettering
it's
myself.
But it's just an old white dude pissing into the wind. And he's a great comedian, and I like a lot of the stuff that he does. But also, there's also a lot of clickbait to this. He does this and he gets, he says something like this and probably doesn't understand.
Do you remember which comedian it was?
It's Bill Maher, I think his name is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, I actually quite like his show, but
as I said, he's a good comedian. But he's one of those people that says stuff. A lot of times I agree with him. In this case, I don't agree with him. But I think ultimately, does it really matter what some stuffy bloke in a suit says on American network?
He basically blamed the entire Trump movement on the fact that the MCU was really successful on superheroes.
Yeah, I mean, so that's my view, man. I hope that answers to, I only wish, to be honest, that I had, more time to give to streaming and stuff like that and get more involved with it.
Yeah.
It's something that we've thought about doing ourselves a few times, but to be honest,
We have.
I
can't see anyone who would want to watch it. Since
exactly,
I find
and it's a lot of work to make a success of it. It doesn't. You don't just film yourself playing a game. It's a lot of work goes into it to be successful, and and I don't know if we've got the time or the ability to do that.
No. There's some fairly humorous depiction of streamers on Mythic Quest again. If you should decide to watch that,
I absolutely
really do enjoy
will
that show.
never get around to watching it just because you've said it.
You douche.
Anyway, thank you, Mama S. That was a great question. Possibly something we should discuss more in future. What do you think, Dante, actually? Maybe that could be a great feature for a future episode, actually. Okay, well, maybe not then. Great, thanks for that. Let's get on to what I believe is trolling. I've got several questions from someone called James Rawboy. I don't know.
James Rawboy.
I don't know why
that sounds
it's raw.
like a legit name.
I don't know why he's raw. He just is raw. Maybe it's something to do with the way he sits. I don't know.
Some friction. So a lot
Yeah, I
of
suggest there's possibly some piles. I don't know. Some hemorrhoids. But I think we're being trolled by James Rawboy because I got a question. I was like, "Oh, that's great." Sent a question. Then I read the question, and it was bullshit. And then I got loads more. So what I'm going to do, rather than us debate them, give them that much merit, I'm going to do a quick fire questions, and you do quick
Wait!
fire
I didn't sign on for this. You're going to make me answer all of these bullshit questions.
Yes, in quick fire. You got to do it really quickly, okay?
You Rudy. Okay, all right.
So there are
let's
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 questions. Ready? I had to count that.
Right.
I was going to put the mastermind music in the background.
Yeah.
Your time starts now. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck had access to a timber mill?
Timber mill. I wish I could remember that quote from Monkey Island 2. A woodchuck would chuck lots and lots of wood if it chucked wood at a timber mill to chuck wood in the wood. Woodchuck. Damn it.
Correct. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, will Al Gore still take credit for inventing it?
Probably.
If I had 5 apples and you had 4 apples, how many iPhone hipsters would try and say theirs is better?
Well, me, obviously.
Correct. If money is the root of all evil, what would it look like as a mathematical equation?
Down, flippy, up, skull, crossbones, devil face, emoji.
Correct. The world ends in 24 hours and the only game you can play is Spore. How long does it take you to crack?
And actually literally crack and then play something decent instead? I don't know what Spore is.
I'd imagine Spore is a big piece of shit like Cat Quest mobile game.
Cat Quest, yeah, that's the biggest piece of shit I can think of at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah. Your answer is... I'm going to have to push you for time.
Penguin.
Correct. Okay, so well done there, Dante. That I think you did a top job at answering those questions.
Thanks. That was a lot of pressure to put under in kind of a very short notice. I think I might have to hire... I need a drink, man.
Calm it down.
Write a threatening letter to Jake Gyllenhaal. Hang on, just
whoa. We talked about this. It's not Jake's fault. It's not Jake's fault. Come on, But he was good in Spider-Man Far From Home. He was a good adversary. Ooh, yeah. The twist was well earned. It was good. Come on, just carry it on.
Who didn't see that coming?
Bubble boy.
Right. Okay. Baba Booey. Howard Stone's penis.
Right. So we've got an actual decent question here. Sorry, James Rawboy, but come on. From our good friend Metal Shark, who admittedly is the person that burned down my house by telling me to smoke loads of things on my Xbox Series S. However, I'm going to let it go.
Last month's question was quite the doozy, though. Did he ever give us feedback on who he thought was evil enough to suggest who we had to spend time with for a year and what game we were playing? Or did he? I
don't believe he did. I apologise, Metal Shark, if he did and I missed it. I don't think he did, though. This one, though, is all about Returnal, the new game that is now is out on Sony PlayStation 5. Looks great. I can't afford it. It's £70. But the question is,
nothing
with
about
Returnal,
this game, but okay.
You know nothing about this game. It looks awesome.
I know that it's a game that's out. I keep seeing reviews of it, but every time I say, PlayStation exclusive, I just tune out.
With Returnal adding new tentacle technology to the gaming industry, what nightmare-inducing tech should we expect to be added next?
Ooh, okay. Tentacle technology. Just give me a one line about what that actually means.
Well,
is there actually like a physical tentacle that you plug into your controller and it strokes you or something?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay, that does sound like nightmare fuel. I'm really glad I've not tuned into this particular game. Okay, so nightmare-reducing tech that I think could be added to a game that would happen next. Well, I think something along the lines of a series of flashing lights designed to induce a coma and make you nightmare dream the last section of the game.
Wow, that would mess you up. That would really mess you up. I mean, yeah, just nightmare-inducing. Yes, you experience
literally inducing a nightmare.
You'd experience the game like the ending and the finale, which would a disturbing game, I'd imagine, as a nightmare. So you wouldn't actually; it would be in your subconscious.
No, it'd be like a game where like the final cutscene is something that's kind of beamed into your head, and your character is, I don't know, eviscerated or something like that.
Wow, that's quite a good answer, actually. I'd say that's really good. It's better than my.
I think
answer.
I took a bit too literally about actually inducing a nightmare, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say anything squelchy that goes inside you, or my other one was going to be any kind of sound design where it hits a frequency where you automatically shit yourself.
Yeah,
that would be. That's quite nightmare-inducing because imagine it, especially if you just you jump on quickly. It's like, I've got to spare 20 minutes before I go go pick the kids up from school or something. I was playing it.
Is there one of those that could induce vomit as well? Could you do both at the same time?
Imagine if you did that: vomit, piss, and poo. That would be. You'd be like, and induced a fit. You'd be having like a spinning. You'd be like a Catherine wheel of bodily excrement. You're just spinning around. Just.
Oh, you'd be like the end of that bit, sort of 2/3 of the way through Team America, wouldn't you?
Exactly. It'd be like it'd be bucking out at both ends, and weeing everywhere. So like the whole room would be like, and you're kind of like, you're having a fit, so your whole body's contorting around into like shapes on the floor and. Just going everywhere. You're rubbing it into the carpet. And anyway, Metal Shark, is that what you were looking
tuned
for?
In this month, Jambaggers? Are you not enjoying this highbrow humour that we are offering to you?
Oh, you're not entertained. That'd be my quote. Okay, Metal Shark, that was another great question. I feel that one of us took it very seriously, and one of us had some rubbish about having a nightmare about stuff. I think mine is quite nightmare-inducing. I'd be quite, I don't know, something that makes you shit and piss and vomit will be pretty bad. Or goes inside you. That's squelchy.
Yeah.
Think about that. Squelchy. just like inside you.
This
anyway,
whole entire feature could be just you saying the word squelchy and maybe moist.
Unpleasant. Let's get on to our last two questions. This one comes from an enigmatic rogue called Enzo.
Enzo, eh?
Okay. It is a real person. Enzo is a real person. But I decided to not give their Twitter handle away because, to me, he is always Enzo. But Enzo asked...
A bit like, I am Sancho.
Yeah. If you could design a video game, what would be the feature that gets everyone to buy it, Dante? Go, pitch me.
Okay, so if I was trying to do something as different as I possibly could that would make a big difference in the video game, I would probably try and have something that mirrors free-flowing kind of sword mechanics, like something that tracks them, a bit like a Kinect, but not shit, that tracks your arm movements so that you can kind of swing a sword and, preferably something that has like haptic vibrating feedback that would kind of maybe like a clang when you bang it against another sword or something like that.
That's actually really cool. Yeah, I like the idea of it. It's kind of like going one step ahead of like motion controllers and things that you get in VR, and it's using a body and it's all just representing. Yeah, that's a really great idea. That's a fantastic idea. Yeah, I'd totally buy that game.
Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks, man. Thanks. It's always nice to hear you say stuff like that. So, what's your idea for what feature would you include?
Titties.
I would totally buy that game. Yeah, absolutely.
Boom.
I would
there you go.
buy that
Thought you
game.
would.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Which Leisure Suit Larry would this be?
Dave, I'm not even going to bother titling it Leisure Suit Larry. It's just going to be called Titties. That's what it's going to be called. Yeah.
We're going to need to do another apology episode, aren't we?
You are, yes.
What?
And the last question from
Okay,
Enzo.
what's Enzo's last question?
This one
anyone else.
is interesting. It says, should Cat Quest be shot into the nearest black hole, or is that not far enough?
Okay, yeah, no, I can see where Enzo's coming from with Cat Quest, because that does deserve to be shot somewhere. So, out of interest, have you got access to a search engine that could tell us?
Yeah, I'm just looking to see how far away the nearest black hole is. So apparently Sagittarius A at the centre of the Milky Way is the closest supermassive black hole.
Supermassive black
Some 25,000 light years away. Let's have a look what that equates to in miles. Blah, 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 lots of science words. Solar masses, that sounds rude. I can't work out from that webpage how far it is. It would take you 25,000 years to get there if you were travelling at the speed of light.
Right. I don't think that's far enough.
No, to be honest, I think there's still a risk that I could see that game.
Yeah, no, I think it's the only safe way is to go into orbit and nuke the entire site.
Yeah, I think the other question is what should you do with Cat Quest users, because they'd retain some functionality, some memory of that game. I think
it's got to be a Men in Black style neuralizing, hasn't it? Surely.
I mean, that's the humane way of doing it. Yeah, but
who can be bothered with? That sounds expensive as well. Would
you put them in camps?
I mean, I wouldn't say I wouldn't put them in camps.
I mean, I'm not saying that should be, the solution, but I'm just saying if there were some camps that those people went to.
Yeah, no, they could enjoy their Cat Quest and not let the rest of the world kind of see it, perhaps.
Yeah. Anyway, we've gone in a very dark tangent on that question. Thank you, Enzo, for those fantastic questions. You've made us think.
Thank you for helping us alienate all of our listeners, who certainly the ones that play Cat Quest.
Yeah. Yeah. However, that pretty much wraps up our podcast for today, Dante. So, it's where can people find us on the socials?
Well, on the socials, you can find the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast on Facebook. So if you search for Jambags on Facebook, you'll find the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast page. You can find us on Twitter at Jambags_UK. You'll find the Twitter account that's run by Rudy. If you want to find the Twitter account that's run by Dante, it's at DanSolo96. Try and change that to something more Jambags related soon, but at the moment it's at DanSolo96. You can also find us on Instagram, also at Jambags_UK. That's an account that I run. Generally has lots of pictures of my various video game crushes, as well as some nice art from video games. Lots of shafts of light coming through the trees in Valhalla, and so on and so forth. You can also interact with us on message boards such as the YouTube message board. More about our YouTube account from Mr. Rudy Manchego.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yes, you are listening to this, obviously, if you've got to this point. It's a miracle that you have, but well done. Unless you're in the camp that we put you in for playing a mobile game. Or
any game we don't like, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
We've only just opened the Fortnite camp because I quite like playing it now. But yeah, we've got the space. We can put the Cat Quest people in there.
Yeah, absolutely. But apart from that, you can listen to us as we are on several repositories for your audio listening requirements. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We're on all good podcast apps that go by an RSS feed. We're on Stitcher as well, or on Simplecast, where we put a link to our social media pages so you can listen to us there. We also have our own YouTube channel. It occasionally has random videos from us, but we'll always have, at the same time as we launch our podcast, a audio version video on there for you to listen to this podcast. If you are following us on anything such as Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, please do drop a like, a follow, a review, comment, anything you can. It makes a massive difference to the algorithms of which rule our lives. So please do.
Yes. Absolutely, they'll tell us what to watch on Netflix next, and then tell us that our podcast is shit in it.
Yes, absolutely. It's a vicious circle which we're victims of. However, I think that wraps up, doesn't it?
Yes, it absolutely does. So thank you very much, Jambaggers, for listening. And next time you're up against a big boss battle, possibly in Sekiro or something ridiculously hard like that, shoot him in the Jambags. Oh, look at this.
Wow,
Hey.
what have you got? What's that?
Well, I guess I need to kind of change my opinion of a certain Hollywood actor who I've been taking some legal action against lately.
Is this about what Jake Gyllenhaal gave you that?
He has to settle the beef that we had. It's the first time a beef has worked out for me. That ABG one didn't work out at all.
No.
But this is nice. This is, check this out. This is an Audi TT.
Wow, and that's brand new. Look at it. It's got all that. It's got that. Wait a sec. Can I just smell the inside?
I think it might have a true coat on the paint as well.
Yeah,
which,
it's got that new car smell. This is like wow. This is yeah. Look at that. Look at the dashboard. Look at the steering wheel. Look at the interior. This is. I mean, man, this beef is really. Wow.
Yeah, no, to take a sit down, check out those heated seats, all that kind of thing.
This is comfy. I like it.
I'm loving it too. It's just arrived, and yeah, check that. Fucking Gyllenhaal.
What? What's he done? What?
Just look at the controls.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. It's got a big screen and it plug your phone into it just there. It's just
see the logo on the screen?
Yeah, it's an Android plug-in play device.
It's an Android phone, and Gyllenhaal, the slimy little fucker, knows I'm an iPhone person.
I think these cars come with standard.
Get out.
But this is I'm quite comfy. Okay, all right. I'm getting out. Dante, what are you doing?
This is not worth it to get close to Maggie at all. I'm torching it. Just
what? Stop. What are you pouring on it for? Wow. Okay, so I'm going to say this one more time. You do know that Jake Gyllenhaal had nothing to do with that being Android. That's what the manufacturer put in, yeah?
No. This is all part of his little puppety scheme thing. It's all part of his weird. Yeah, I'm Donnie Darko and I'm so cool thing that he's done.
Okay.
Smug.
So you've set fire to most of your lawn. I'm gonna get your Xbox and run. Bye.